Oh, well, hi there. You scared me. Welcome back to the homestead. You know what? Today I want to talk to you guys about the top 5 low maintenance herbs that anybody can grow. Well, all these herbs that we're going to talk about today are easy to grow because they're perennials. That means that they come back every single year. You don't have to worry about any maintenance because right now nothing's really growing. It's still pretty cool here, and I wanted to show you how these herbs are starting to pop out of the ground. So they're easy. Number one, they are full of flavor that they're going to add to the foods and things that you're going to be using. And they're also filled with lots of amazing health properties. So let's get started. Well, are you excited? I am ready to talk to you about my first choice. A lot of times I do these things and I don't go in the particular order, but today I put my first one is really one of my favorites. They're all wonderful, but this is really one of my special favorites, and that is called lemon balm. Now, lemon balm has been touted throughout history for thousands of years, from its properties to be an elixir of youth, to help treating anxiety and depression, and also as an aphrodisiac. And as well, it's good to help break a fever because it helps to promote sweating. So drinking a tea made from this, if you're not feeling well, could be very beneficial. So what I wanted to do is I want you guys to come down here and see, because we're still in well, I guess it's actually spring, but it's pretty cold here still. It's starting to merge. This is a lemon balm. I've had it here for years and years and years. And it's a plant that is going to keep coming back every single year. It does spread a little bit. It could be invasive, so put it someplace where it has room to move, but you can control it. So it's really important as it starts to grow, if you want it to be, I guess, a little bit more bushy and not so tall, you can trim it. And the thing is it's just like giving it a haircut. So I might just come and grab a hunk and I'll just cut it with the scissors, and then that's what I can hang and I can dry. It just hangs very nicely. Hang it someplace where the air can get to it. I hang it on one of those clothes drying racks, and then when it dries out you can use it as a tea. I like to do it in the winter or in the summer months as a fresh tea, but in the winter months I have it all winter long that I use as a tea. So I like it at night when I'm trying to relax and go to sleep, and it really helps me to sleep better, and it just helps my nervous system, and it's just amazing flavor because it's very lemony. It tastes great. And the cool thing about lemon balm is this little guy, let me pull off a stem. I don't know if you can see it, but it has a square stem. It's not like smooth and round, it's square. So anything in the mint family, because it's a mint family, is a square stem. So the lemon balm, like I say, in the mint family, has that wonderful aroma. I mean, it just is just intoxicating. Other thing I like to use it for is in the summer months when there's bugs around. That's why I like to plant it right down the steps from my front door. I just come out and I'll grab some, and then I just rub it on my skin and my hands and rub it on my clothes like this. And then that way it's a natural bug repellent. And then I don't have to worry about any mosquitoes or any bugs getting me when I use this. So when I walk right out the door, so it's kind of convenient for me. Now, when you guys are wanting to plant this, there's a few ways to do it. You could get a hunk from a friend who has it already, which is easy. Just borrow it and then you just stick it right in the ground and it'll do phenomenal. It grows very easy. Or you can get it at a store, or you can buy seeds and you just plant them and it'll grow, and then you're going to transplant it someplace in a sunny location. It does okay with a little partial sun, but it does like some sun. And the lovely thing about it is it can go and grow down to zone 3. So that would include like Alaska, part of Maine, parts of Montana, up in Canada. So it is pretty cold tolerant. So it's one of those things that works great. And if you had a big container, you could even keep it in a big container, like one of those feed buckets or something, and just grow it on your back porch. So this is a great versatile plant, as well as using it in your food. So you could pull off some leaves, put it in a salad. If you want that lemony flavor and whatever you're gonna do, I like to put it up with chicken or fish. It works great. So this is an excellent herb to start your herb garden that you're starting to grow. And I love, there was a 1600s, in the 1600s, this botanist that said that lemon balm causes your heart and your mind to be merry. So it's wonderful. Like if you guys want a little time to relax your nervous system and calm yourself and all that, have a nice cup of lemon balm tea. Alrighty, we're ready for number 2. And as you can hear, Forrest is yelling for me, my little bottle-fed lamb. He just ate, but he sees me and I look like a big bottle, I guess. I'll be there in a little bit. You got a couple more hours. All right, our second herb that is just awesome to grow is the mints. So the mints, you can have peppermint, you can have spearmint, there's pineapple mint, there's chocolate mint, there's lots and lots and lots of mints. But generally, like peppermint's gonna be pretty hardy, your spearmint's gonna be pretty hardy, and I have a bed because remember, if you guys have never done this before and grown any type of mint, it is very, very, very invasive. So you need to put it in its little forever home. So right here with my flying pigs, don't you love them? This is my peppermint patch. So I want you guys to come down here and see because it's starting to creep its little head out. All right, I still have a lot of cleanup to do in here, but you can see underneath, look at it. There it is, it's starting to pop out, saying, yay, we're gonna wake up. Spring and summer's coming. And it smells wonderful. So peppermint has been touted throughout the centuries to help with digestive issues, stomach aches, nausea, things like that, as well as it's wonderful for a headache, and you can use the leaves. So I don't have very many to pick from here. Let's say I grabbed a nice handful of leaves and I put them in a bowl and poured some boiling water over it, and maybe I wasn't feeling well, I was congested, have a cough or a runny nose. I can put a towel over my head and then breathe in the wonderful aroma of the peppermint or the spearmint, and it'll help kind of clear congestion. So these good old-fashioned remedies are very helpful when you're at home and you know, maybe you just feel kind of too sick to go anywhere, and this can kind of help you breathe better. Now peppermint is an amazing drink, hot or cold. I know my granddaughter, grandsons, they love peppermint tea with some honey in it. They just come out and pick some. I put it in a mug, put some honey in it, and they love it. So it's great infused like that, hot or cold. It is a great grower, like I was saying earlier, in a container. So if you hit a children's garden, because these kind of plants are so simple for kids to maintain and take care of. You can also kind of give it a haircut every once in a while, maybe it gets to 6 inches or so if you want a bushier plant. Otherwise it'll grow much taller, and it has beautiful flowers. It's wonderful for the pollinators. My bees and everybody are just all over the place. They just absolutely adore it. Mint goes very well down to zone 3 as well as the lemon balm. So you guys up in Alaska and these northernmost states and areas, you can grow it and it will come back as a perennial every year. And it does love a lot of sun. Another amazing point about peppermint is you can use it for your animals. So I do put a lot of this stuff in my field, so if my animals think they need it, the horses or the sheep, they'll go ahead and they'll eat it. But I grow it all over the place because I especially like it for my chickens, because it makes the coop smell amazing when I put it in there, fresh or dried. And what it'll do is it makes your chickens happy. They'll lay better eggs, they lay more eggs, and it's going to give you that medicinal benefit of helping their immune system, helping against, you know, parasites. So I really do love the peppermint and the spearmint. I use it, I stick it in the coops, they scratch it, they're ingesting it. It really works well in the coop. All right, number 3 are going to be your chives. Chives are one of my favorites. Chives have been harvested wild for thousands of years, and I guess it just hasn't been until the Middle Ages that they started cultivating them regularly. Marco Polo brought them, he was the first to bring them to Europe, and so now they're over here. So chives are pretty cool because you can use the plant, so the part here, this green part is wonderful because you can use it in so many different dishes. So if you want the flavor of onion, because it is part of the allium family, it's similar you know, the same as leeks and garlic and onions, and it's kind of like a cross, and it tastes between like a garlic and onion. But you can put it in wherever you want that flavor. I put it fresh in salads. You can use it, cook it with, maybe you're making eggs or potatoes or baked potatoes. A lot of people like them on, but they're wonderful, as well as being excellent for the pollinators. So this one here is going to grow into a beautiful purple flower, and the flower is also edible. You can use that, and then it'll attract those pollinators, and they voted these chives, the flowers, in the top 10 of the highest nectar producers. So all of us want this in our garden because we want to bring in all those wonderful pollinators. Now, chives is kind of neat. They're what we call a clumping plant. So as you can see here, they're like in little clumps. When you look at your lemon balm, or especially your peppermint, it's just going to spread and get very invasive. This just kind of stays in big clumps, so that's nice. The cool thing about the chives is insects don't like it, so they're not going to want to eat it because of that sulfur compound. It's that oniony flavor, so they're not going to mess with it at all. It likes some sun and a little, it might be okay in a little shade, but mostly it likes sun with well-drained soil. And it's so cold tolerant, just like your mint and also like your lemon balm. So it's good at zone 3. So it's way up there with you northerners, so it does very well there. So chives are for me. Alrighty, now we're on number 4, and we're talking about oregano. Oregano, you might know because it's a spice of the Mediterranean. You have it a lot of like Italian type dishes. But in Greek, the word oregano basically means joy of the mountains. So it does like full sun. It will spread a little bit, and if you don't want it to be so tall and lanky, like long-legged and lanky, then just give it a haircut after about 6 inches or so. That might take a little bit more maintenance. A lot of times I don't necessarily do it. I do like it to go to flower because the pollinators love it as well. The smell is wonderful, and it is very cold tolerant down to zone 4. Not as much as some of the other ones we were talking earlier, but it does go down to zone 4. Here in Missouri, we're zone 6. So this has been coming back year after year after year after year. Now, the cool thing I think about the oregano is after World War II, when the soldiers came back and they wanted pizza, because they would eat a lot of pizza when they were over in Italy, I guess, they wanted the like oregano spice. So I think oregano kind of had a resurgence and or had a big popularity in foods after the soldiers came back from the war. So I thought that was a pretty cool trivia fact there. Now, the oils in these plants are wonderful. So like I was talking earlier with the peppermint, if you put some leaves in a pan and put boiling water and then put a towel over your head to breathe it in if you're having congestion problems or, you know, coughing or colds, you could do the same thing with oregano as well. Oregano has been touted over the years to help with coughing, with aches and pains, helping with toothaches. It's antiviral. As well as I like to use this, plant this in my field for my horses and for my sheep. I also utilize it for my chickens. I may put it in their nesting boxes, and I also dry it to put in their feed because it is antiviral. It helps even with like the bird flu, with any respiratory issues. It helps with a strong immune system. So it's a total must for me. I love to grow it. I grow it all over, and I really utilize it for my animals, especially my chickens. And the cool thing for you guys, if you are going to grow this, when you do grow it and you cut it, because you'll be able to harvest it a few times throughout your season, depending how long your growing season is. But when you get it, I just cut it, might be this high, I'll cut it and then I'll hang it upside down in the back room, down in your basement, let it dry out, because the essential oils stay very well. So this is a great one to dry because the flavor stays intact and it tastes wonderful after it's been dried out. When you look at other herbs like a parsley or even basil, it doesn't have that wonderful flavor that this one will. So oregano definitely will keep its flavor when you dry it. So, oregano. Now over here I have some oregano that we already talked about, but then another one, which is my 5th one, is thyme. Thyme is a herb that has been used for thousands of years, once again, and it is associated with strength, courage, and bravery. Actually in Greek the word thyme means courage. So it's an herb that I love to grow here. It can be a very low growing herb. So if you want to put it possibly in between your pavers and your patio, it looks wonderful because you can step on it and you can crush it and it'll still keep growing, and it produces beautiful flowers for your pollinators. Once again, that's why I can't tell you enough, growing these herbs, besides getting the medicinal benefits and adding flavor to your food, they're wonderful just to use to attract those pollinators, because the flowers on them are just like intoxicating for them. You'll just walk by and you just hear this bzzz like you're at the airport, and it's just so cool to see. And this is another one of those herbs, just like the oregano and also mint too. When you do dry them out, they keep those essential oils. So when they're dried, they're a wonderful dried herb to use in your food in the winter months when we don't have the fresh herb. Now this thyme is very drought tolerant, very much so. So like if you don't water it for a really, really long time, it does very well. I mean, we've had droughts here and I haven't bothered with it a lot of the times, and it just keeps growing. So it is very drought tolerant. The one thing about this one compared to the first four we talked about, it is good to zone 5. So it's just a little, we're zone 6 here like I was saying earlier, but it's good to zone 5, that it'll keep coming back as a perennial every year. Now, it's also been touted over the centuries to help as a pain reliever, to help with respiratory issues. It's wonderful actually in a cup of tea with some honey, helping with maybe your throat or the symptoms of a cough or respiratory problems like that. Also used as a pain reliever. Now, what I really love this for is that wonderful flavor that thyme gives you in your dishes, especially on roasted chicken, and I love it on potatoes. So with a little butter or ghee, and you put your thyme all over it, and then you roast them. If you're growing some of these, then you can go ahead and dry your oregano and dry your thyme, and then that way mix them together and make your own little Mediterranean mix. So the Greeks thought if you would take a bath in your thyme, if you smell of thyme, that you are stylish, refined, and elegant. So when it gets a little bit bigger, I might have to try this. Every year I like to try something new. So some of you guys, if you haven't tried some of these herbs, that might be something you want to try. Get yourself a perennial, get some from a friend, get it at a store, or grow it from the seeds, and then try something different. Or maybe try a variety of all these, put them in maybe a big container. You could put them in a garden box. You can just put them somewhere and then just let them grow, because they don't take much maintenance at all. I mean, if you want to give them a haircut, go ahead, but if you just let them go the whole time, you know, and just pick off it when you want to, then they'll be fine also that way. So it's one of those things that you can really go to that next level. You're growing food, or you're starting to grow food. You want to start flavoring those foods. So the herbs are the way to do it, because with the flavor, you're going to get so much nutrition and medicinal benefits, and so they're wonderful things to add to your diet to help with your immune system and to help with your health. So I just challenge you guys, grow some more herbs. Like I say, herbs are the way to go. I don't think I would like my garden at all if I didn't have my herbs. So plant some herbs and leave a comment below. What are your favorite herbs? I want to hear from you guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Did you guys know that in the 16, 17, and 1800s, chocolate was consumed as a beverage? There was no such thing as a chocolate candy bar. Well, we're bringing chocolate tea back to the 21st century because it's loaded with antioxidants our body loves, and it's a great source of magnesium that's wonderful for bone and heart health. It's a great addition to your coffee machine or your French press, or just along with your favorite sweetener. You can find it on offgridwithdougandstacy.com, along with our brand new tea infuser, simple to use for easy steeping. Cheers!